Austin, Texas. Since I was developing my comfort zone, my dad decided to help me by throwing me into the Boy Scouts. Since we didn't live far from Austin, it was always an experience going to the woods, or in this case, the dry, rolling grasslands. I'd like to imagine it was a learning experience for the both of us, and eventually the three of us, as my younger brother decided to join Scouts as well. My brother and I learned the basics of being a good person. My dad learned how to wrangle two little boys running rampant around the campgrounds. However, we were still within our own comfort zones. That is, until we moved to the Appalachian Mountains in eastern Kentucky. We quickly shattered what little comfort zone all three of us had. Within the first couple of months of joining the local scout troop, we found ourselves backpacking to the top of Pine Mountain, the highest mountain in eastern Kentucky, camping on a ridgetop nearby. Gone were the days of car camping in some flat grassland campground. We had to learn how to pack everything that we needed, including food and water, and try to go from point A to point B with elevation greater than you can find on the flat grassland, all without getting lost. Now, hiking up and down switchbacks and walking through holler after holler can confuse anyone. It's why country singer Patty Loveless calls the Appalachians the deep, dark hills. Over time, the three of us bested what the Appalachians could throw at us. We learned to use what we found to make shelters, to know what we could eat out in the woods, and more importantly, to enjoy ourselves. We had developed a new comfort zone. But it was time for another step outside. Flash forward about 60 years into the future, you'd find me living in a yurt in the middle of the Gobi Desert. Somehow, I had convinced myself to live abroad for a couple of years, as far away from the Appalachians as you can think of. On top of that, I decided to work with high school students. Now, my background is in biology and animals. If given the choice between a black bear and a group of high schoolers, I would have chosen the black bear. So this was way outside of my comfort zone. In fact, I wasn't even sure why they would even listen to me. I was barely a little older than most of them myself. However, I shared with them a little bit about my comfort zone. From it came understanding. As a Peace Corps volunteer, I was able to work with the local scout troop at my new school. Camping and exploring the woods wasn't the Scouts of Mongolia, especially out in the middle of the desert. Instead, it was developing the character of the kids to try and make them a better person. To do so, I used what I learned growing up in Scouts and trying to make sure the students were the ones leading the troop. Now, my comfort zone was growing with every interaction I had, and I was proud of what I accomplished my first year in the Peace Corps. I worked with different teachers on their after-school programs to try to make it more student-focused. I tried to get kids outside their own comfort zone by having them take charge. Now, the second year, I wanted to work more with organizations outside of my school, or more than the non-governmental organizations. But the biggest challenge in my comfort zone didn't come with working with those organizations or with the after-school programs. At the beginning of every school year in Mongolia, there was a welcome party for all students and staff. It is essentially a ceremony with a big feast that follows. Near the end of the ceremony, I was asked to give a speech in Mongolian in front of a couple hundred people.
Ooh.
Now, I'd like to think I can rattle something coherent at the top or the drop of a hat. And that may be true in English. Well, I decided to go for it. Well, yeah, and it definitely wasn't the case in Mongolian. I fumbled. Nor did I fumble. Nothing in my previous experiences prepared me for that. Yet because of it, my comfort zone grew a little bit bigger. Now, I've thrown around the word comfort zone during this talk. And you may be thinking to yourself, that's not really what comfort zone is or means. And you're right. Psychology says comfort zone is how we minimize risk. But our experiences determine